What about the situations where you have a repeat offender on your hands? You've got someone that's got you on a cycle. There's a toxic relationship of some kind, because I can see a one and done deal, and I think that came up in the list. But what about when it is difficult in one of those kind of relationship? What would your coaching be?
Dr. Henry Cloud wrote a book called Necessary Endings. And in this book, he pulls from the Proverbs and the wisdom of Solomon, and he describes 3 different types of people. He says there's the wise, there are the foolish, and then there are the wicked. He says the wise want to get better. They don't mind being corrected. They read, they're listening, they're in a setting like this, they're trying to grow and get better. Second category is the foolish. And the foolish just don't learn. They hit their head against the wall. They keep repeating the same mistakes because they think they know best. But they're not necessarily mean-spirited. He said then the third category is the wicked. And the wicked are in patterns of behavior that bring about destruction. They're the ones that in an organization, in a business, in a church say, if I have to go, I'm taking the whole place down with me. And so we need to be cognizant of the different types of people that we're dealing with. Are we called to forgive all of them? Yes. But I often tell clients, forgiveness is about the past. We don't forgive things that are going to happen. We forgive things that have already happened. Trust is about the future. So we can forgive people for things that have happened in the past, but that does not mean that we have to trust them if they do not demonstrate trustworthy behavior. So I hope that helps just kind of differentiate. And when there is a pattern of a person hurting over and over again, I would say that's not a safe person. They're falling at least into the foolish category, if not the wicked category, if they're doing it as part of a pattern of their life.
Okay, but let's make it even more difficult. Let's say that person is your spouse. What do you do in a case like that? And this is obviously extremely difficult and extremely personal, but we know it happens, that people get in these patterns. How do you coach people in a situation like that?
There's a fairly recent book that pastor and author Gary Thomas wrote called When to Walk Away. And he does a good job of unpacking this very topic, and I would recommend this as a resource because I think it's a difficult question for us as believers. We know we're supposed to forgive, but what if that person closest to us is the one who is causing the greatest amount of pain? And he does differentiate in the book between a difficult person, and we all have difficult people in our lives, but there's a difference between a difficult person and a toxic or a wicked person. And the toxic person, for somebody who's married to that type of person, that there's a continual sense of being pushed down, of being pulled down, of being controlled, I would encourage that person to find a safe friend and start to disclose this. Because often that person, the offended, the victim in that is being isolated. They're being kind of a more recent term, gaslighting. They're being made to feel like the crazy person in the relationship, and they need a safe outlet to talk to, somebody to be honest with. And as sin gets to be exposed, it loses its power. That's bad news for the offender, but it's good news for the victim. So I do think that there is a time and a place to start to disclose this to a safe person, so that person isn't continually stuck in a cycle of abuse.